The stars looked peaceful tonight. From his office window in the United Nations building, Secretary General Marcus Webb watched the lights of New York City spread out below him. He had no idea that in less than an hour, everything would change forever. The red phone on his desk rang. It was the emergency line, the one that never rang unless something terrible was happening. Webb picked it up with a shaking hand. "Sir, you need to see this," the voice on the other end said. It was General Patterson from NORAD. He sounded scared, and Patterson never sounded scared. "We have visitors in orbit." Webb felt his stomach drop. "Are you sure?" 47 ships, sir. Big ones. They just appeared out of nowhere 10 minutes ago. Every space agency on Earth is tracking them. They are not ours. They are not human. The next few hours passed in a blur. Webb called emergency meetings. World leaders connected through video screens. Scientists talked about impossible things, and the ships just stayed there, hanging in the sky like dark clouds before a storm. Then the message came. Every screen on Earth showed the same thing at the same time. Televisions, computers, phones, even the big advertising screens in Times Square. Everything showed a face that was not human. The creature had 4 eyes arranged in a square pattern. Its skin was dark blue and looked like it was made of smooth stone. When it spoke, the words came out in perfect English and Chinese and Arabic and every other language at the same time. "I am Arbiter Velthun of the Galactic Council. We have been watching your species for some time. You call yourselves humans. You are primitive but dangerous. Your history is filled with war and violence. You fight each other over small pieces of land. You build weapons that can destroy your own world. You are not ready to join the galactic community." Webb watched with millions of others around the world. His hands were clenched into fists. Velthun continued. "The Galactic Council has made a decision. You will accept supervised integration into our society. You will follow our laws. You will give up your weapons. You will allow our peacekeepers to manage your world. If you refuse, we will be forced to take correction measures. You have 30 days to decide. Choose wisely." The screens went black. For a few seconds, the whole world was silent. Then the chaos began. In the next week, world leaders argued about what to do. Some wanted to accept the offer. They said the aliens were too powerful to fight. Others wanted to tell them no. They said humans should be free to make their own choices. Webb tried to contact the aliens. He sent messages asking for a meeting, asking for a chance to talk. The aliens did not answer. They just waited in orbit, silent and watching. On day 15, Webb finally got his meeting. But it was not what he hoped for. He stood in a conference room with representatives from every major nation on Earth. The screen showed Velthun's face again. "We request terms," Webb said, trying to keep his voice steady. "We want to discuss the conditions of integration. We want to keep some of our independence. We want to choose our own leaders. We want—" "No," Velthun said simply. "You do not understand. This is not a negotiation. You are primitive. You are violent. You are dangerous to yourselves and to others. The Council does not negotiate with species like yours. You will accept our terms, or you will be corrected. Those are your only choices." "But," Webb started. "You have 15 days left," Velthun interrupted. "Use them to prepare your people. The Council's decision is final." The screen went black. That night, Webb could not sleep. He walked the empty halls of the UN building, thinking about everything that could happen. He thought about his children, his grandchildren. He thought about every person on Earth. Then he made a decision. He picked up his phone and called Admiral Sarah Chen, the commander of Earth's combined space forces. It was a small group, nothing compared to the alien fleet. But maybe, just maybe, it was enough. "Admiral," he said when she answered, "I need you to gather everyone. Every ship, every weapon, every person who knows how to fight in space. And I need you to do it quietly." "Sir," Chen said carefully, "are we preparing to fight?" Webb looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere up there, the alien ships were waiting. "I hope not, Admiral. But we need to be ready. Because I think they are going to show us what they mean by correction measures. He was right. On day 20, the aliens got tired of waiting for an answer. The moon's dark side, the part that always faced away from Earth, lit up like a second sun. The light was so bright that people could see it even during the day. When the light faded, a quarter of the moon was simply gone, vaporized, turned into dust and gas that drifted away into space. Veltun appeared on every screen again. This is your final warning. You have 10 days. Choose submission or choose destruction. The council has spoken. The world erupted in panic. People rioted in the streets. Governments fell apart. Some leaders said they should surrender. Others said they should fight. Most just did not know what to do. But something else happened too. Something the aliens did not expect. For the first time in human history, the whole world agreed on something. They were angry. They were terrified. But most of all, they were done being told what to do. In Beijing, the premier stood before his military council. Prepare everything we have. In Washington, the president addressed Congress. We will not surrender our freedom. Not today. Not ever. In Moscow, in London, in New Delhi, in Tokyo, the message was the same. Humanity would not go quietly. Admiral Chen worked without sleeping. She gathered every military ship that could reach space. She called scientists and engineers and told them to forget about safety rules and long-term testing. She needed weapons, and she needed them now. Old nuclear missiles were pulled out of storage. Experimental weapons that had never been tested were loaded onto ships. Volunteers lined up by the thousands. Most of them had never been to space before. Many of them probably would not come back. They all knew it. They all came anyway. On day 28, Webb gave a speech. Every human being alive watched it. They call us primitive, he said. His voice was tired but steady. They call us violent. They call us dangerous. Maybe they are right, but they made one mistake. They think we will bow down because we are afraid. They think we will give up our freedom because they have bigger guns. They think they can scare us into surrender. He paused, looking directly into the camera. They are wrong. We are human. We have fought for our freedom since the first day we stood on two legs. We have died for it. We have bled for it. We have never, ever given it away without a fight, and we will not start now. In 2 days they will come. They will try to make us kneel. And we will show them what it means to threaten Earth. We will show them what it means to threaten humanity. We will show them that we would rather die free than live as slaves. He took a deep breath. So prepare yourselves. Say goodbye to your families. Hold your children close, because in 2 days Earth goes to war. The screen went dark. Around the world people cried. They hugged their loved ones. They prayed to whatever gods they believed in. And they waited. On the last day, Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of her flagship, the carrier Defiance. Around her, 93 human ships prepared for battle. It was not many. The alien fleet had over 300 ships, each one bigger and more powerful than anything humans had ever built. But Chen did not care about the numbers. She looked at her crew. Young faces, old faces, faces from every nation on Earth. They were scared. She could see it. But they were ready. Admiral, her communications officer said, we are receiving a transmission from the alien fleet. Chen nodded. Put it on screen. Velthun appeared. He looked surprised to see armed ships waiting for him. This is foolish, he said. You cannot win. Your weapons are primitive. Your ships are weak. Surrender now and the council may show mercy. Chen smiled. It was not a nice smile. You want to know something about humans, Arbiter? We have a saying. It goes like this: you can have peace or you can have freedom. We choose freedom. Every single time, then you choose death, Veltun said. The council fleet will now administer correction measures. Prepare to be pacified, no, Chen said quietly. You prepare. Because you are about to learn what happens when you threaten Earth. All ships, battle stations. This is Admiral Chen. Today we teach these aliens what it means to be human. Today we show them that Earth does not kneel. Not for anyone. Not ever. She looked at the massive alien fleet approaching. They thought this would be easy. They thought humans would break and run. They thought wrong. Fire everything, Chen ordered. And do not stop until they are gone or we are. The battle for Earth had begun. The first shots from Earth's fleet hit the alien ships like rain hitting a mountain. The weapons did almost nothing. The alien shields glowed blue and absorbed the missiles, the railgun rounds, the laser beams. Everything humans threw at them just bounced off or exploded harmlessly against the barriers. Target their engines, Admiral Chen ordered from the Defiance. Concentrate all fire on single points. Break through those shields. The human ships tried. They focused their weapons on individual alien vessels, pouring everything they had into breaking through. It took 3 ships firing for 2 full minutes before the first alien shield finally collapsed. The ship behind it took damage. Not much, but some. It was proof that the aliens could be hurt, but the cost was terrible. While those 3 human ships were focused on their target, the aliens returned fire. Their weapons were like nothing Earth had ever seen. Beams of pure energy that cut through human ships like they were made of paper. In the first 5 minutes of battle, humanity lost 20 ships. 20 ships and 6,000 people gone in flashes of light. On Earth, people watched the battle on their screens. They saw the human ships dying. They saw how outmatched they were. Many started to cry. Some started to pray. But nobody looked away. Chen gripped her command chair. She had known this would be hard. But seeing it happen, watching her people die, it was worse than she imagined. She wanted to cry. She wanted to scream. But she was the admiral. Her people needed her to be strong. All ships break formation, she ordered.
Scatter and use guerrilla tactics.
Do not stay still. Do not give them easy targets. Hit and run just like we practiced. The human fleet split apart. Ships darted between asteroids and used the moon for cover. They stopped trying to fight fair and started fighting dirty. One ship would distract an alien vessel while 2 others snuck up from different angles. They used every trick they could think of. The aliens did not expect this. They were used to fighting organized battles, neat formations, rules, and honor. Humans did not care about any of that. They cared about surviving. They cared about winning, or at least about not losing. Commander Marcus Webb led a group of 12 small attack ships. They were fast but lightly armed. Against the alien battleships, they were like mosquitoes attacking elephants. But mosquitoes could still bite. Stay close to that big one, Webb ordered his squadron. Get right up against its hull. If we are close enough, they cannot shoot us without hitting themselves. His ships swooped in, dodging enemy fire. 3 of them did not make it. They were hit and exploded, silent flashes of light against the dark of space. But the other 9 got through. They pressed themselves against the alien battleship's hull, so close they could see the metal plating. Now, Webb said, all weapons, point-blank range. Find a weak spot and pound it. The small ships fired their weapons directly into the battleship's armor. At this range, with no shields in the way, they could actually do damage. Not much, but they could make dents. They could open holes. They could hurt the giant ship. The alien crew panicked. They had never fought an enemy willing to get this close. They tried to shake the human ships off, but Webb's squadron held on. They fired and fired until their weapons overheated and stopped working. Pull back, Webb ordered. We did what we could. Time to regroup. 6 of his ships escaped. 3 more were caught by alien fighters and destroyed. But they left the battleship wounded and burning. It was a small victory, but it was something. The battle raged for hours. Humans kept dying. The alien fleet kept coming. But humanity did not break. Every time the aliens thought they had won, another group of human ships would appear and attack from a new direction. On the 3rd hour, the aliens made their big move. They sent a full strike force toward Earth itself. 50 ships all heading for the planet. They were going to bomb the cities. They were going to make humanity watch their home burn. Chen saw them coming. She had saved her reserve ships for something like this. 20 vessels hidden behind the moon waiting for the right moment. All reserve ships move now, she ordered. Get between them and Earth. We do not let them through. Not one ship. Not one bomb. Do you understand me? Understood, Admiral, came the replies. 20 captains ready to die to protect their world. The human reserve fleet intercepted the aliens halfway to Earth. It was not even close to a fair fight. The aliens had more ships, better weapons, stronger shields. But the humans had something else. They had home behind them. They had 7 billion people counting on them, and they had nothing left to lose. Captain Maria Santos commanded one of the reserve ships, a destroyer called the Last Stand. She watched the alien fleet approach and felt fear trying to crawl up her throat. She pushed it down. Her crew was watching her. They needed to see her be brave. Listen up, she said over the ship's intercom. They are bigger than us. They are stronger than us. They probably will kill us all. But you know what? They have to go through us first, and we are going to make them work for it. We are going to make them remember this day. We are going to make them remember that humans do not give up. Not ever, her crew cheered. It was a desperate sound, but it was real. They were scared, but they were ready. The two fleets collided. The aliens tried to push through. The humans refused to move. Ships crashed into each other. Weapons fired at point-blank range. The space between Earth and the alien fleet became a graveyard. Santos watched an alien cruiser line up a shot on the last stand. She knew her shields would not stop it. But maybe she could hurt them first. All power to forward weapons, she ordered. Forget the shields. Forget the engines. Every bit of power we have, I want it in the guns. We go out fighting. The last stand fired everything. Missiles, lasers, railguns, even the experimental plasma cannon they had never tested before. The weapons tore into the alien cruiser's shields. For a moment, Santos thought it would not be enough. Then the alien shields collapsed. The next volley of missiles hit the cruiser directly and it exploded in a ball of fire. Santos and her crew cheered. Then 3 alien destroyers opened fire on them at once. The last stand did not have shields anymore. The beams cut through the ship like it was made of glass. The last thing Santos saw was her crew still fighting, still trying to launch one more missile, fire one more shot. Then everything went white. When the smoke cleared, all 20 human reserve ships were gone. But they had stopped the alien strike force. Of the 50 enemy ships that tried to reach Earth, only 12 made it through. And those 12 were damaged, limping, barely able to fight. The remaining human ships hunted those 12 down. No mercy, no surrender. They were eliminated before they could fire a single shot at Earth. On Earth, people watched it all happen. They saw their defenders die. They saw Earth saved, at least for now. The cost was terrible. Humanity had started with 93 ships. Now they had 37. More than half the fleet was gone. More than 40,000 people were dead. But the aliens had lost ships too. 23 of their vessels were destroyed. Another 30 were damaged. They had thought this would be easy. They had thought humans would surrender after the first battle. They were wrong. Arbiter Velthun stood on his command ship and stared at the battle reports. This should not be happening. The humans were primitive. Their weapons were weak. Their ships were outdated. How were they still fighting? Arbiter, his tactical officer said. The human fleet is regrouping. They are not retreating. They are preparing for another attack. Velthun could not believe it. They lost more than half their ships. They must see they cannot win. Why do they keep fighting? The tactical officer looked uncomfortable. Sir, I have been studying their transmissions. I think I understand. They are not trying to win. They are trying to make us pay. Every ship they destroy, every one of our crew they kill, they see it as a victory. They do not care about their own losses. They only care about hurting us. Velthun felt something cold in his stomach. It might have been fear. That is insane. They are killing themselves for nothing. Not for nothing, sir. For their freedom. For their home. They would rather die fighting than live under our rule. Every species we have encountered before surrendered when they saw our power. The humans see our power and fight harder. Velthun looked at the view screen. The remaining human ships were forming up again, ready for another round. So small, so weak, so absolutely refusing to quit. Order the fleet to pull back, he said quietly. We need to rethink our strategy. This species is more dangerous than we thought. The alien fleet began to retreat, moving away from Earth. But they did not leave the solar system. They just pulled back out of weapons range and waited. This was not over. Not even close. On the Defiance, Admiral Chen watched them go. Her ship was damaged. Her fleet was broken. She had lost so many people she could not even count them all yet. But they were still here. Earth was still safe. They had survived the first day. Commander Webb appeared on her screen. His face was covered in soot and his left arm was bandaged, but he was alive. Orders, Admiral? He asked. Chen took a deep breath. Repair what we can. Reload weapons. Bring up every reserve ship we have left. And get ready, Commander. Because they will be back. And when they come, we hit them again. And again. And again. Until either they are gone or we are. Webb smiled. It was a tired, painful smile, but it was real. Understood, Admiral. We will be ready. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. Yes, humanity had lost many ships. Yes, many people had died. But they had also hurt the enemy. They had shown that the Galactic Council could bleed. They had shown that humans would not surrender. In cities around the world, people gathered in the streets. They lit candles for the dead. They sang songs. They told stories about the brave defenders who gave their lives, and they prepared for what was coming next, because everyone knew this was just the beginning. The aliens would come again. They would bring more ships, more weapons, more death, but humanity would be waiting. They would fight. They would die if they had to, but they would never, ever kneel. The Galactic Council had wanted to teach humanity a lesson. They wanted to show Earth what happened to primitive species who refused to obey, but they were learning a lesson too. They were learning that some species could not be broken. Some species would fight until the last breath, the last bullet, the last drop of blood. They were learning what it meant to threaten Earth, and they were just starting to understand that maybe, just maybe, they had made a terrible mistake. 3 days passed. 3 days while the alien fleet regrouped and prepared their next attack. 3 days while humanity buried their dead and prepared to die themselves. But something was happening that the aliens did not know about. Something that would change everything. In the outer solar system, past Neptune, past the furthest planets anyone talked about, there was a secret. For 20 years, human scientists had been building something out there. Not weapons, not ships, something much more dangerous. It started 30 years ago when an alien ship crashed in the Antarctic. The governments kept it secret. They told nobody. While the world went about normal life, scientists studied the wreckage. They learned about faster-than-light travel. They learned about advanced weapons. They learned about energy shields. And most importantly, they learned that humanity was not alone in the universe. The world leaders had made a choice back then. They could tell everyone and cause panic, or they could prepare quietly just in case. They chose to prepare. Money that should have gone to other things went into secret space programs. The best engineers in the world were hired and told to disappear. Asteroid mining operations that the public thought were for resources were actually building something else. Admiral Chen had known about it. She had helped hide it. And now, as the alien fleet prepared to attack Earth again, it was finally time to reveal what humanity had been building in secret. She stood on the bridge of the Defiance and opened a special communication channel, one that only a handful of people in the world knew existed. This is Admiral Chen. Authorization code Alpha 77. Activate the Prometheus array. I repeat, activate Prometheus. This is not a drill. Thousands of miles away in a hidden control center built inside an asteroid, people jumped into action. Screens lit up. Commands were entered. And all across the outer solar system, weapons that had been sleeping for years came online. The Prometheus array was simple, but deadly. Hundreds of asteroids had been hollowed out and filled with railguns, missile launchers, and nuclear mines. They were positioned at key points all through the solar system, hidden and waiting. The aliens had come in thinking Earth had only a few ships to defend itself. They had no idea about the fortress that humans had secretly built all around them. Arbiter Velthun was preparing his attack when his sensors officer spoke up. "Sir, we are detecting unusual energy signatures. Multiple contacts. They are all around us." Velthun frowned. "What contacts?" "There is nothing out here but rocks and ice." "Sir, the rocks are moving." "They are not rocks. They are—" The officer never finished the sentence. The Prometheus array opened fire. Railgun rounds traveling at a significant fraction of light speed tore through the alien formation. They did not have shields up. Why would they? They were far from Earth, far from any threat. Or so they thought. 3 alien cruisers exploded in the first volley. Then 5 more. Then the missiles arrived, hundreds of them, coming from every direction. The aliens scrambled to activate their shields to turn their ships to fight back. But there was nothing to fight. The platforms were hidden in asteroids. The aliens could not tell which rocks were dangerous and which were just rocks. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," Velthun shouted. "Return fire. Find those platforms and destroy them." The alien fleet tried. They fired at anything that looked suspicious. They destroyed dozens of asteroids. But for every platform they destroyed, 2 more opened fire. The humans had spent 20 years building this trap, and they had built it well. And then the human fleet attacked. Admiral Chen led what remained of Earth's ships straight into the chaos. But they were not alone. With them came 20 new vessels. They were different from the other human ships, sleeker, faster, and they moved in ways that should not be possible. "All ships," Chen said over the fleet channel, "meet our new friends, humanity's first FTL-capable warships, built from the technology we recovered 30 years ago. Welcome to the fight, Valkyrie Squadron. The Valkyrie ships tore through the alien formation. They could jump short distances instantaneously, appearing behind enemy ships, firing and vanishing before the aliens could respond. They had weapons based on alien technology, but modified in ways only humans would think of. Where alien weapons were precise and efficient, human weapons were brutal and overwhelming. One Valkyrie captain was a woman named Rachel Park. Her ship, the Fury, jumped right into the middle of an alien battle group. Before they could react, she fired every weapon at once directly into their formation. 3 ships took critical damage. As the aliens tried to target her, she jumped away, appearing 3,000 miles to the left, and fired again. "This is Fury to defiance," Park said with a grin. "These new toys are amazing." "Permission to show off a little?" Chen almost smiled. "Almost. Permission granted, Fury. Make them regret coming here." "With pleasure, Admiral." The battle became a nightmare for the aliens. They were surrounded by hidden platforms. Human ships attacked from unpredictable angles. The Valkyrie Squadron jumped around like ghosts. Every time the aliens thought they had an advantage, humans would do something unexpected and crazy. Commander Webb led a suicide attack that nobody saw coming. He loaded his ship, the Hammer, with every nuclear warhead they had left. Then he pointed it at an alien carrier and pushed the engines to maximum. "Webb, what are you doing?" Chen demanded over the comms. "Winning, Admiral," Webb said calmly. "That carrier has been launching fighters for the last hour. If I take it out, we save a lot of lives, my life for 1,000 of theirs. That is a trade I will take. Marcus, you do not have to do this. We can find another way." "No, Admiral, we really cannot. Tell my family I love them. And tell the Council that Earth sends its regards." The aliens saw the Hammer coming. They fired everything at it. The ship's armor melted away. The engines started to fail. But Webb had already locked the controls. The ship would not stop even if he died. The Hammer crashed into the alien carrier at full speed. For a moment, nothing happened. Then every nuclear warhead detonated at once. The explosion was so bright it could be seen from Earth. The carrier and 3 nearby ships simply ceased to exist. Chen closed her eyes for a moment. Another friend gone. Another brave person dead because she had ordered them into this fight. But there was no time for grief. "Not yet. All ships, press the attack," she ordered. "They are breaking. Do not let them regroup. Show them what happens when you threaten humanity." The alien fleet was falling apart. Ships collided as they tried to escape. Their formation was destroyed. Their commanders were panicking. They had come to pacify a primitive species. Instead, they had walked into a trap built by a species that had been preparing for this fight for decades. Velthun watched his fleet die around him. In 6 hours, the Council had lost over 60% of its ships. 60%. It was the worst defeat in Council history, and it had been inflicted by a species they considered primitive. "Order a full retreat," he said quietly. "All ships fall back to the edge of the system. We need reinforcements. We need—" His ship rocked as a railgun round punched through the shields and tore into the hull. Alarms screamed. Fires broke out. His crew scrambled to keep the ship together. "Sir, the humans are not stopping," his tactical officer reported. "They are pursuing our retreating ships. They are boarding damaged vessels and killing the crews. Sir, they are not taking prisoners." Velthun felt true fear for the first time in his life. "Get us out of here." "Maximum speed. Leave the damaged ships. Just get us out." The remaining alien ships fled. They ran with everything they had, desperate to escape. The humans chased them all the way to the edge of the solar system. Only when the aliens jumped to faster than light speed and disappeared did the pursuit finally stop. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Defiance and looked at the battlefield. Pieces of ships, both human and alien, drifted everywhere. The outer solar system looked like a junkyard. But Earth was safe. The alien fleet was gone, and humanity had won, not without cost. The fleet had started with 93 ships. Now they had 41. Thousands more were dead. The names would fill books. The funerals would last for weeks. But they had done the impossible. A primitive species had defeated the mighty Galactic Council. Earth had shown the galaxy that humans could not be conquered, could not be broken, would not surrender, Admiral, her communications officer said. "We are receiving messages from all over Earth. People are celebrating in the streets. They are calling it the miracle of Sol. They are calling us heroes." Chen shook her head slowly. We are not heroes. We are survivors. And this is not over. The Council will be back. They will bring more ships, more weapons, more soldiers. We hurt them, but we did not destroy them. So what do we do, Admiral? Chen turned to look at her bridge crew. They were tired. They were hurting. But they were not broken. None of them were broken. We rebuild, she said. We get stronger. And when they come back, we will be ready. But we are not going to wait for them to attack us again. We are done playing defense. Wait, what do you mean, Admiral? Chen smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of someone who had been pushed too far and was about to push back. I mean, we take the fight to them. They wanted to show us what happens when you threaten the Council. Now we show them what happens when you threaten Earth. Now we show them what happens when you wake up the fury of humanity. She looked out at the stars, at the vast galaxy that had just learned Earth existed. Somewhere out there, the Galactic Council was regrouping. They were planning their revenge. They thought they could still win. They were wrong. The battle for Earth was over, but the war for the galaxy had just begun. And this time, humanity would not be the ones running. This time, humanity would hunt. News of Earth's victory spread through the galaxy faster than anyone expected. The Galactic Council tried to keep it quiet, but too many species had been listening. Too many had heard about the primitive humans who refused to surrender, who fought back against impossible odds, who made the Council fleet run. And in the dark corners of the galaxy on worlds that lived under the Council's rule, people started to whisper. If the humans could fight back, maybe they could too. If Earth could stand up to the Council, maybe freedom was possible. The Council had wanted to teach humanity a lesson. Instead, humanity had taught the galaxy one. Never underestimate someone fighting for their home. Never think that superior weapons mean certain victory. And never ever threaten a species that would rather die fighting than live kneeling. Earth had shown the galaxy what it meant to be human. And the galaxy would never forget. 2 weeks after the Battle of Sol, the first human warship left the solar system. It was not running. It was not exploring. It was hunting. Admiral Chen had meant what she said. Humanity would not wait for the next attack. They would take the war to the Council's doorstep. But first, they needed information. They needed to know where the Council's bases were, where their fleets gathered, where they were vulnerable. That was why Captain James Walker took his ship, the Shadow, deep into enemy territory. It was one of the new Valkyrie-class vessels, fast and hard to detect. His mission was simple: find Council outposts and mark them for destruction. Walker found his first target in a system called Keller 4. It was a small Council mining colony, barely defended. Just a few patrol ships and a station, perfect for what Walker had in mind. Arm all weapons, Walker ordered his crew. We go in fast, hit hard, and leave nothing standing. No warnings, no mercy, just like they planned to do to us. The Shadow jumped out of FTL right on top of the mining station. Before the aliens could even send a distress signal, Walker fired. Missiles and railgun rounds tore through the station's weak shields. The structure broke apart, pieces spinning off into space. The patrol ships tried to respond, but they were too slow. Walker destroyed them one by one, methodically, coldly. In 15 minutes, it was over. The colony was gone. Walker uploaded the battle data to a communications buoy and jumped away before reinforcements could arrive. Back on Earth, Chen received the data and smiled. Good work, Shadow. Move to the next target on the list. Keep hitting them. Keep them scared. Let them know that nowhere is safe anymore. Over the next month, 10 human ships conducted raids all across Council space. They hit mining colonies, supply depots, patrol stations. Nothing big enough to have serious defenses, but important enough to hurt. Each attack was fast and brutal. The humans did not try to occupy anything. They just destroyed and moved on. The Galactic Council was in chaos. They had never faced an enemy that fought like this. In the past, when they went to war, it was organized. Fleets met in open space. There were rules about targeting civilians. There were limits to what weapons could be used. The humans ignored all of that. In the council chambers on their capital world, the 47 species argued about what to do. We must make peace, said Ambassador Trell, representing one of the smaller species. The humans have proven they cannot be easily defeated. We should negotiate before this gets worse. No, roared General Krax, a massive creature covered in thick scales. Peace with primitives? Never. We gather our full military might and crush them once and for all. Burn their world. Make an example of them. Velthun sat in his seat and said nothing. He had been demoted after losing so many ships at Earth. Now he just listened as the council tore itself apart arguing. They are monsters, another council member said. They attack without warning. They kill without mercy. They violate every rule of civilized warfare. We should have destroyed them when we had the chance, but we did not, Trell replied. And now they are stronger, more dangerous. Every day we wait, they build more ships. They grow bolder. Soon they will be attacking major worlds, not just small outposts, the council voted. It was close, but in the end, the war faction won. The council would gather the largest fleet in its history. They would crush Earth once and for all. But it would take time to assemble that fleet. Time that the humans used very well. While the council prepared their fleet, something else was happening. Something that terrified the council leadership. Other species were watching Earth's war, and some of them decided to fight back too. The Thrax were a species that lived under council rule. They had been conquered 200 years ago and forced to mine resources for the council. They lived in poverty while the council grew rich from their labor. They had tried to rebel once before. The council had killed millions in response. Since then, the Thrax had been quiet, obedient, defeated. But when they heard about Earth, something changed. A mining crew leader named Tora watched the broadcast from Sol. She saw the human ships fighting impossible odds. She saw them win, and she made a decision. If they can fight, Tora told her crew, so can we. The rebellion started small. Mining equipment turned into weapons. Transport ships were stolen. Council soldiers were attacked. Within weeks, the Thrax homeworld was an open revolt, and the Thrax were not alone. On 12 different worlds, species that had lived under the council's boot decided they had had enough. The humans had shown them it was possible to resist. Now they wanted their own freedom. The council had to split their forces. They could not focus only on Earth anymore. They had to fight rebellions all across their territory, and the more they fought, the more species rose up. Admiral Chen received a message from Tora. It came through secret channels, passed from ship to ship until it reached Earth. Admiral Chen of Earth, the message said, I am Tora of the Thrax. Your people inspired us to fight. We cannot win alone. We ask for your help. We ask for weapons, supplies, anything you can spare. Together we can break the council. Together we can be free. Chen showed the message to the human government leaders. They debated for hours. Some said helping the rebels would spread humanity too thin. Others said it was the right thing to do. In the end, Chen made the decision. We helped them, she said. The council made this war when they threatened us. Now we finish it, not just for Earth, but for every species they have oppressed. We show the galaxy that freedom is worth fighting for. Human ships began secretly delivering weapons to rebel groups. Nothing too advanced, just enough to let them fight back effectively. Human advisors taught them tactics. Human engineers showed them how to turn civilian equipment into weapons. Earth did not give them everything, but it gave them a chance. Meanwhile, Chen approved a special operation. Commander Rachel Park, captain of the Fury, was given a mission that was either brilliant or insane. Probably both. You want me to do what? Park asked when she heard the plan. Chen smiled. I want you to assassinate council members. Find them on their home worlds. Make it look like accidents. Sow paranoia and fear. Make them understand that their power, their position, their distance from the front lines, none of it keeps them safe from us. Park grinned. Now that is a mission I can get behind. Any particular members you want dead? Start with the ones who voted loudest for war. The ones who wanted to burn Earth. Show them what happens when you threaten humanity. Park saluted. Yes, Admiral. Earth sends its regards. Over the next 3 months, 5 council members died. 1 in a shuttle crash. 1 from a mysterious illness that human doctors could have easily cured, but alien doctors could not diagnose. 1 in an explosion that everyone thought was an accident, until they found the human-made bomb residue. 1 simply disappeared, and a week later a human transmission showed him begging for mercy before the recording cut off. The last one died in his sleep, poison in his system that no one could identify. The council was terrified. They increased security. They stopped appearing in public. Some resigned and went into hiding. The most powerful government in the galaxy was being hunted by a species they had considered primitive. Then came the worst day in council history. A human strike force attacked a major council military base, not with ships or weapons, with a biological agent. The agent was designed specifically to target the Krellian species, the ones who had been loudest about destroying Earth. It spread through their barracks like wildfire. Within 48 hours, 15,000 Krellian soldiers were dead. The base had to be quarantined. And then humanity broadcast a message. Admiral Chen appeared on every council communication channel. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of Earth. We did not want this war. You brought it to us. You threatened our home. You killed our people. So now you see what we are capable of. This biological weapon, we have 47 versions, one for each species in the council. We can release them anytime, anywhere. We can make your species extinct and you will never see us coming." She paused, letting that sink in. "But we will not do that. You know why? Because we are not monsters. We do not kill entire species just because we can. We fight only those who threaten us. We kill only those who would kill us first. Leave us alone and we leave you alone. But threaten Earth again, and we will show you what it really means when humans stop holding back." The broadcast ended. The galaxy held its breath. The council knew Chen was not bluffing. Humans had proven they would do anything to win. They had no limits, no rules they would not break, no line they would not cross to protect their home. 2 weeks later, the council made their response. They used a planet-killer weapon on a human colony world. A small world, only 2 million people, but it was humanity's first colony outside the solar system. The weapon fired and the planet broke apart. Every human on it died in seconds. The council broadcast their own message. "This is what happens to species who defy us. This is what happens to terrorists and murderers. Surrender now, humans of Earth, or we will destroy every colony you have. We will burn every world you touch. Keep fighting, and there will be no humanity left to remember you." On Earth, people mourned. 2 million dead, an entire world gone, families destroyed, children killed. For a moment, humanity wavered. Maybe the council was right. Maybe this fight could not be won. Then Admiral Chen gave another broadcast. Her face was hard. Her eyes were cold. But her voice was steady. "They killed our people. They destroyed our world. They think this will make us surrender. They are wrong. This makes us angry. This makes us determined. This makes us remember why we fight." She leaned forward, staring into the camera. "They wanted to see Earth's fury. Now they will drown in it. Gather every ship. Load every weapon. Because we are done with raids. We are done with small attacks. Now we go after their homeworlds. Now we make them pay for every human life they took, and we will not stop until either they are gone or we are." The war was entering its final phase, and humanity was about to show the galaxy what happened when you killed their children. The council had made their worst mistake yet. They thought destroying a colony would break human will. Instead, it forged it into something harder than steel. Every human who had been unsure about the war now wanted revenge. Every person who thought maybe peace was possible now demanded victory. Every nation on Earth united like never before behind one simple goal: make the council pay. Production factories worked around the clock. Shipyards built new vessels faster than ever before. Every resource Earth had was poured into the war effort. And for the first time in history, other species were building human ships too. The rebels had learned human designs and started building their own versions. Crude copies, but effective. The galaxy was changing. The Council's empire was cracking. Rebel groups controlled entire systems now. Council forces were spread thin, fighting on a dozen fronts. And Earth, the species that was supposed to be conquered in a week, was stronger than ever. Admiral Chen stood in her war room, looking at a map of the galaxy. Red dots showed Council territory. Blue dots showed human and rebel-controlled space. 6 months ago, there had been only one blue dot. Now there were hundreds. The Council fleet is finally assembled, her intelligence officer reported. 2,000 ships, the largest military force in recorded history. They are moving toward the Sol system. They will arrive in 3 weeks, Chen nodded slowly. Let them come. We will be ready, but we will not wait here like targets. We attack first. We hit their homeworlds before they hit ours. We show them that this war ends on our terms, not theirs. Admiral, attacking their homeworlds might provoke them to use more planet-killer weapons. They already used one. They already crossed that line. Now we cross it too. Prepare the fleet. In 1 week, we launch the largest offensive in human history, and we do not stop until the Council surrenders or is destroyed. The final battle was coming, and when it was over, the galaxy would never be the same. The human fleet assembled in Earth orbit, 300 ships, the largest force humanity had ever gathered. Some were new, fresh from the shipyards. Others were patched together from damaged vessels, held together by repairs and desperation. But every single one was ready to fight. Admiral Chen addressed the entire fleet from the bridge of the Defiance. In a few hours, we jumped to Council space. We are not going to defend Earth anymore. We are taking the war to them. We will hit all 47 Council homeworlds at the same time. Not to destroy them, not to kill billions of civilians, but to show them that we can. To show them that nowhere is safe. To show them that if they want peace, they need to accept our terms. She paused, looking at the faces on her screen. Captains from every nation on Earth, young and old, veterans and newcomers, all of them ready to die for their world. I know you are scared. I am too. I know you have families back home. I do too. But we do this so they stay safe. We do this so our children can grow up free. We do this because someone has to show the galaxy that the strong do not get to bully the weak. That freedom matters. That humanity matters. The Council wanted us to kneel. We showed them what happens when you threaten Earth. They wanted us to break. We showed them what happens when you underestimate humans. Now we show them what happens when you push us too far. Now we show them the full fury of humanity unleashed. All ships prepare for jump. This ends today. One way or another, this war ends today. The fleet jumped. 300 human ships vanished from Earth orbit and reappeared scattered across Council space. The plan was brilliant and insane at the same time. Every Council homeworld found human warships appearing in their skies. Not invasion forces, just enough ships to prove a point. On the Krellian homeworld, the species that had called loudest for Earth's destruction, 10 human ships appeared over their capital city. They did not fire. They just sent a message. This is Earth. We could destroy your world right now. We could do to you what you did to our colony. But we will not. Because unlike you, we do not kill billions just to make a point. But understand this. Your fleet is away. Your defenses are down. You are helpless. Remember that feeling. Remember what it is like to be at someone else's mercy. And maybe next time you will think twice before threatening another species. The same message played on every Council homeworld. 47 worlds, all facing human ships in orbit. All realizing how vulnerable they were. All understanding that humanity could have ended them all but chose not to. The psychological impact was devastating. The Council had always felt safe in their capitals, protected by distance and their military might. Now they knew the truth. Earth could reach them anywhere. Earth could hurt them whenever it wanted, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. At the same time, the massive Council fleet was approaching the Sol system, ready to end humanity once and for all. But when they arrived, they found Earth's orbital defenses activated and waiting. The Prometheus array was fully operational, and a surprise was waiting for them. 500 rebel ships had gathered to defend Earth, species from across the galaxy who had risen up against the Council. They had heard about humanity's fight and decided to stand with them. Together, humans and rebels faced the Council fleet. The Council fleet commander received reports of human ships over Council homeworlds. He received reports of the combined human-rebel fleet. He received urgent messages from the Council leadership telling him to pull back, to negotiate, to stop. But the commander was General Krax, the one who had called loudest for humanity's extermination. He refused to surrender. He refused to retreat. Instead, he ordered his fleet to attack Earth with everything they had. The resulting battle was the largest in galactic history. 2,000 Council ships against 500 rebel vessels and Earth's defenses. The space around Earth became a wall of fire and explosions. Ships died by the dozens every minute. The carnage was unimaginable, but the Council forces were fighting without support. Their homeworlds were occupied. Their leadership was in chaos. Their morale was broken. They had come expecting an easy victory and found a united resistance instead. After 12 hours of brutal fighting, General Krax's flagship was destroyed by a combined human-Thrax attack. With their leader dead, the Council fleet began to fragment. Some ships kept fighting, others tried to flee, and some, seeing the situation was hopeless, surrendered. Across Council space, the human strike forces received word that the main fleet had been defeated. They transmitted new demands to the Council governments. This is Earth. The war is over. Your fleet is destroyed. Your homeworlds are at our mercy. Here are our terms. The Galactic Council is dissolved effective immediately. All species under Council rule are granted independence. Any attempt to reform the Council or attack humanity will be met with total war. We will become the guarantors of peace in this galaxy, and if any species threatens another the way you threatened us, they will answer to Earth. The message continued. We did not want this. We wanted to be left alone. But you came to our home. You threatened our people. You killed our children. So now we take responsibility. Now we make sure this never happens to anyone else. This is the new order. Either you accept it, or Earth will personally ensure you never threaten anyone again. One by one, the Council species surrendered. They had no choice. Their fleets were gone. Their homeworlds were occupied. And they had learned that humanity was not bluffing. Earth would do exactly what it said. In the ruins of the Council chambers, Arbiter Velthun stood alone. The once grand building was damaged from a rebel attack. Most of the Council members had fled or been killed. Velthun was one of the few left. A human shuttle landed outside. Admiral Chen walked in, flanked by 2 soldiers. She looked at Velthun, the alien who had started all of this by threatening Earth. Admiral Chen, Velthun said quietly, I suppose you are here to kill me. Chen shook her head. No, you will stand trial. You will answer for your crimes. But we will not execute you. That would make you a martyr. Instead, you will live knowing that you destroyed the Council, that your arrogance and pride led to this. You will spend the rest of your life watching Earth keep the peace you could not. Velthun looked at her with his 4 eyes. How? How did a primitive species defeat us? We had superior technology, superior numbers. How did you win? Chen smiled sadly. Because you did not understand what you were fighting. You thought we were primitive. You thought our technology made us weak. But weapons do not win wars, people do. And you were fighting people who would rather die than surrender. You were fighting people defending their home. You never had a chance. She turned to leave, then stopped. You called us dangerous. You called us violent. You were right, we are. But we are also loyal. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. We stand up for what is right. And we never forget our friends or our enemies. Remember that, Velthun. Remember that the next 1,000 years, Chen walked out, leaving Velthun alone in the ruins of everything he had built. The war was officially over 3 weeks later. The Council species signed peace treaties. The rebel worlds gained their independence. And Earth took its place as the guarantor of galactic peace. The cost had been terrible. Earth lost almost 2 million people in total, hundreds of ships, entire colonies. The dead filled memorial walls that stretched for miles. Every nation on Earth had families in mourning, but Earth was free. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had proven that they belonged among the stars. 10 years later, the galaxy was a different place. The former Council species lived in an uneasy peace. They traded with each other and with Earth. They rebuilt their fleets, but under strict limits enforced by Earth. Some resented human dominance. Others were grateful for the stability, but all of them were careful, because they had learned what happened when you threatened Earth. The Thrax and other former subject species thrived as independent nations. They built alliances with Earth. They helped patrol the galaxy, and they told their children about the day humanity showed them that freedom was possible. Earth became the most feared and respected power in the galaxy, not because they conquered anyone, not because they ruled with an iron fist, but because everyone knew that if you started a war, if you oppressed your people, if you threatened peace, humanity would come. And humanity did not lose. Admiral Chen retired after 5 years of peacekeeping operations. She went back to Earth, to a small house in the countryside, to finally rest. But she kept her uniform, just in case. On the anniversary of the war's end, she visited the memorial wall where the names of the dead were carved. She touched the name of Commander Marcus Webb, the man who had sacrificed himself to destroy an alien carrier. She touched the names of Captain Maria Santos and her crew. She touched thousands of names, each one representing someone who had given everything for Earth's freedom. A young reporter approached her. Admiral Chen, can I ask you a question? Do you think the war was worth it? Chen looked at the wall of names. Worth it? No, nothing is worth losing this many people. But was it necessary? Yes, we fought because we had no choice. We won because we refused to lose. And now billions of people across the galaxy live free because of what these people did. They died so others could live. That is not worth it. That is sacred, the reporter nodded. One more question. What do you want people to remember about the war? Chen thought for a moment. I want them to remember that we did not start this fight. We did not want this war, but when someone threatened our home, threatened our freedom, we stood up. We fought back. And we won not because we were the strongest, but because we were willing to pay the price for freedom. That is what being human means. That is what we should never forget. In schools across Earth and across the galaxy, children learned about the war. They learned about the day aliens came to Earth. They learned about the Battle of Saul. They learned about humanity's fury and determination. And they learned the lesson that the Galactic Council had learned the hard way. Never threaten someone who has nothing to lose and everything to fight for. Never underestimate someone defending their home. And never ever assume that primitive means weak. In the end, the galaxy learned what humanity had always known. That freedom is not given, it is taken. It is fought for. It is earned with blood and sacrifice and determination. And once you have tasted freedom, once you know what it means to stand on your own, you will never kneel again. Not for anyone. Not for anything. The Council had thought they were untouchable. They had thought their power would last forever. They had thought they could force a primitive species to obey. They were wrong on every count, and their mistake had cost them everything. Earth's fury had shaken the stars, and the galaxy would remember that fury for the next 1,000 years. They would tell stories about the humans who refused to surrender, about the species that turned a war they should have lost into a victory that changed everything, about the day Earth taught the galaxy that some species cannot be conquered, can only be killed, and killing them will cost you more than you can imagine. In human homes, parents told their children about the war. They told them to be proud of being human, to value freedom above all else, to stand up for what is right even when it is hard, and to remember that humanity's greatest strength was never their weapons or their ships. It was their refusal to give up, their absolute determination to fight for what they believed in, their willingness to pay any price for freedom. 20 years after the war, a new generation grew up in peace. They did not remember the battles. They did not remember the fear. But they knew the stories. They knew what their grandparents had done. And they knew that if anyone threatened Earth again, they would do the same, because that was what it meant to be human. To fight when fighting was needed. To show mercy when mercy was deserved. To protect the weak. To stand against the strong. To never surrender. To never give up. To never forget that freedom was not free. It had cost 2 million lives. It had cost blood and tears and sacrifice beyond measure, but it was worth it. Because now across the galaxy, species lived free. They made their own choices. They ruled themselves. And if anyone tried to take that freedom away, they knew Earth would stand with them, would fight for them, would show any would-be conqueror what humanity had shown the Council, that threatening Earth was the worst mistake you could make. That humanity's fury, once unleashed, would not stop until justice was done. That the species from the blue planet, the ones who had been called primitive and violent and dangerous, would protect the innocent and punish the guilty with equal determination. The Galactic Council had thought they were untouchable. They had learned they were wrong. And now, in the new order that Earth had created, everyone was equal. Everyone was free. And everyone knew that humanity stood watch to make sure it stayed that way. Earth's fury had shaken the stars, and the echo of that fury would ring through the galaxy forever. A reminder, a warning, a promise. Freedom matters, life matters, and anyone who threatened those things would face the full might of humanity unleashed. The war was over. The peace was won, and humanity had earned its place among the stars, not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as guardians, as protectors, as the species that would fight for freedom until the last ship was destroyed and the last human drew their final breath. That was the legacy of the war. That was the lesson the galaxy learned. And that was why 50 years later, 100 years later, 1,000 years later, children across countless worlds would learn the same story. The story of Earth, the story of humanity, the story of the species that refused to kneel. The Galactic Council thought they were untouchable, until Earth proved them wrong, and the galaxy was better for it.